Skylum has a great deal on Luminar Neo right now. It starts now, the 14th of March in 2023, and it will run all the way up to March 28th, 2023, and it ends at 12 p.m. GMT on that day. Hi, it's Peter here, and about the deal a bit later. Luminar Neo was launched about a year ago, and it was a slightly revolutionary way of making image edits. It works a bit different. It's a modular based software where you can add extensions, and I have a video about those extensions over there. You might want to watch that if you don't know what Luminar Neo can do and how it works. The newest version is 1.7. In this video I will look into those new features that it has. And don't forget, there is more info about the deal at the end of this video. The most exciting new thing is the better work as a plugin for Lightroom. But before we get into that, a few other minor things that has been fixed. Hovering over the presets to see how it looks. You can make presets to make your editing a lot faster. The way it works, you just click the preset and it's done. When you're doing some editing and you find a style or a look that you like, you can set it as a preset. What I've done is I have a preset for optic modules or optic corrections. They don't really have optic modules, but optic corrections. So I click this and it will fix the image distortions and stuff like that. Chromatic aberration, if there is any, it fixes that, and it works quite well. You can also add the transform so that you will straighten the lines, but to be honest, it doesn't work that well, so I haven't turned that on at all. And then I changed the camera calibration from here, and for some reason I couldn't get this into the preset. I don't know why. I usually use camera muted because I use ETTR, and that's the best way to get the best possible exposure when using Olympus or OM System cameras. You save the preset from down here after you've done it, and then you can name it, and it's easy to just use it again. Now that you can hover over the presets, you don't have to click to see the effect. You just hover over it and it will show you the look that you have set as a preset. Very handy way, and once again, something that makes the workflow easier is of course a lot better than not making it easier. Well, yeah, you know what I mean. When the workflow is more smooth or smoother, it is easier to work with and faster. The other thing what they have done is made some bug fixes and performance enhancements, and that's something that we can't really confirm. That's what they always do when they do these updates to software. They fix something that it makes the software work smoother and faster, and that's always good. The improvement in Lightroom Classic plugin. Now you can use HDR merge, focus stacking, and upscale AI extensions from the Lightroom plugin. And this is also a very good improvement in workflow. It used to be so that you had to use it as a standalone software to use these extensions. Now you can use them from Lightroom Classic. Focus stacking has been working really well. I used it quite a bit when I was testing the new 90mm macro lens from OMDS, the 90mm f3.5 macro lens. And then I needed to use a lot of focus stacking because with that focal length, the depth of field is very narrow, and that worked really well on that. The upscale isn't as good as, for example, Gigapixel AI, but it works quite well. And like I said, I do have a video about the extensions, and I will put a link in the description of this video so you can watch it afterwards. And then the HDR merge. So far I have been using mainly Lightroom Classic for my HDR photograph if I need to do it, and very seldom do I need to do that. You can also do that inside camera if your camera supports that. But I have found that HDR in Lightroom Classic is quite good. But I will do a separate video about the HDR in Luminar Neo because it might be quite useful if it is as good as focus stacking. And then about the deal that they have in March 2023. And now I have to check my notes so that I say everything correctly. They have a deal what they call Ultimate Photography Bundle, and it includes Luminar Neo Lifetime License, and this is available for Neo users only, but there is a deal for those who already have Neo, so don't worry. Luminar X membership for 1 year subscription, and then there are some LUTs, skies, presets and overlays for Luminar, Photoshop and Lightroom. Full editing course on landscape photography from Albert Ross, and then there was about portraiture, about drone cinematography, Luminar Neo Ultimate Editing Handbook and Creative Content from Matthew Brown and Rene Ledrado, but I will put everything or the link where you can get this, and then you can, find out more about the deal, because it's a pretty significantly good deal. And you might want to ask what Luminar X membership is. It will give you all kinds of benefits. The price for all that is only $149 instead of $1,000, so that is a 85% discount. That's a good deal. If you don't have Luminar Neo, I think that's a good deal. And also you support the company, because it's a Ukrainian company, and you can imagine how they have been struggling for the past year. And the same package for those who already have Neo is $99, and it has all the same things except the license for Neo, but you don't need it because you already have it. The regular price for that would be $820, and the discount is $87, so it's a slightly bigger discount. And if you want an additional discount, use that code, or maybe I put it on that side, to get 10% off when purchasing. And that's not a bad deal. And the links that I have are affiliate links, so I will get a small commission, but remember, you don't pay any extra for that. Just a win-win situation. You support my free content, and you get a great set of tutorials and a great software to edit your images. And I do have the links, like I said, but there are two links. The first link is for those who do not have Neo, and the second one is for those who already have Neo and will get all the additional stuff. So what do I use Neo for, Luminar Neo? I mainly use it for portraits, because I think it's the best portrait editing software at the moment that there is on the market. So if you're into people photography, this is a really good one, because the mask that it does, it's just the best. You don't have to adjust the mask like you sometimes have to do if you do Lightroom Classic and use the new Mask AI tool. And this is more versatile. I mean, Luminar Neo is more versatile. You have more control, and you have lots more tools, and the presets, of course. But yeah, you can do presets in Lightroom. But on Luminar Neo, I think it works slightly better to make those presets. And you can make really subtle adjustments, and it does it all automatically. It just works so well with portraits. That's why I use it for portraits. And I know a lot of people use it for landscapes, because it is so easy to make the adjustments, and there are so many different types of tools. It can be a bit overwhelming because there are so many tools, and when you're getting it or already have it, just play around and see what different things does. And like I said, I have a video about the extensions, and there will be a link in the description. But I think this is such a good deal that if you're ever even considered getting it with this price, it's a no-brainer in my opinion. If you need an image editing software, I very seldom say that you should buy something, but this is something that you should really consider getting. It is good. And here is the video about the extensions. You might want to watch that to learn more. The same links that I have in the description are also in the description of that video. But hey, thanks for watching, and bye for now.